I feel like a lot of people don't keep a maintenance log. I know there's larger breweries that technically have a maintenance team. It's one guy. It is best if someone kind of keeps track of, hey, this part was replaced on this date, or I replaced this pump seal here. But, if it's a brewer or lead brewer that's been there for multiple years, it's kind of just stored in their head. But yeah, you're right. If he leaves, there goes that maintenance.
You are listening to the Capital Craft Podcast, brought to you by the San Diego Brewers Guild, your place for all industry information related to the San Diego brewing scene. I am your host, Eric Fowler.
I'm Jeff Fox with Beer Media Co.
Hey guys, I'm Max Sant with CraftMaster Stainless.
Yeah, and we're excited to sit down with Mac today and talk about brew house preventative maintenance. Very sexy subject, but also very important.
Absolutely. I mean, and I think that there's so much that goes into it that I think a lot of the lay people like myself don't know. So I won't be able to add a whole lot there, but I would love to just find out how that kind of affects that final product, and kind of, so I'll probably lean into that a little bit as we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and CraftMaster Stainless before we get into the nitty gritty on what breweries should be looking at with the preventative maintenance program and maybe what you'd like to see more of.
Yeah, I've been with the CraftMaster Stainless now for 2.5 years. I was previously a brewer up in Sacramento at Flatland Brewing Company, where we purchased and expanded into a 10-barrel direct fire system from CraftMaster Stainless. And with my own setup on that, as well as helping commission some other systems, is how I approached the guys and said, hey, would you like someone here on, brew house maintenance and things like that?
So is your approach from a brewer's perspective different than, say, an engineer who's just looking at designing a system? Like, where does the practicality versus what looks good on paper come into play?
So when designing a brew house, I had a little bit of a background in engineering too, not engineering, but design. And so I try to take that design aspect and think, as a brewer, how does this function? How's it going to function in the future? And so I can kind of lean both to the consumer as well as the engineering side of it.
Yeah. Like my family owned an HVAC company for a long time, and I did a lot of ride-alongs, and when you're trying to squeeze your hand, or just like fixing your car, you're squeezing your hand in somewhere that it doesn't fit to change something very simple. Mm-hmm. You get really frustrated at the person that was sitting behind a desk that designed the thing.
I was also a mechanic, so yes.
Sounds like you've done quite a bit.
Just a little bit.
For those who, the very few people out there that don't know what CraftMaster Stainless does, could you give a quick little overview on what you guys do as a company and, kind of let people know?
Yeah, so CraftMaster is one of the younger equipment suppliers in the U.S. We serve all of the U.S. and some international, just depends on who reaches out. We've been around for about 8 years. Started mainly with tanks and keg washers because the market for that it's there and everyone needs it. And then I'd say brew houses and the systems themselves for brewing the beer for about 5 years or so. But we're a very small company. We're very customer service based. We're always answering the phones and just there for anyone who needs it.
Yeah, so you manufacture the equipment and then also help them with maintenance and things like that, or is it how does that all work?
So just like a lot of suppliers in the U.S., we are manufactured overseas. A lot of our welding and fabrication is done overseas, and we import it in, which then comes to our warehouse where we run quality control and then testing. Our customers can come visit when their systems arrive, and we can do some on-site adjustments as well. But typically you have your equipment within, 70, 90 days, and I'm on the phone with you the whole time just to set it up. Yeah.
So you guys built and installed the system at Rody's Brewing Co., correct?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And what does that process generally look like in terms of, are potential clients coming to you with a full-fledged idea on what they need in terms of system capabilities and scale and the space that it's going to go in, or do people come to you not really knowing what they're looking for?
It's on both ends of the spectrum. There's people who have that business plan, already have layout drawings, how they want to lay out their brewery, and then there's some people that just don't have a business plan. And so you work with them sometimes from the very beginning and talking them into what size they're looking at, how much they could produce, make, things like that.
And what does your ideal client look like? What do you wish more breweries in planning or breweries that are expanding would have understanding of or information of coming to you?
I will say I prefer a project that has a brewer, like a brewer owner or another brewer that's already on staff. Like you've kind of already looked at your building or you already have one, and then you have some brewing knowledge. Those are kind of easier projects to work with. Don't get me wrong, I'll work with anybody, but it's nice when you can talk the lingo and we can place different pieces of the equipment around just to make your life easier as an owner and brewer.
Sure, that makes sense. I was part of a kitchen expansion project before, and we didn't bring the chef on until later. And of course, they have opinions on the capabilities of the equipment and the setup and flow that, maybe the designer and the architect had well intentioned. It was functional, but not preferential to the person that was actually working in that area. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So when it comes to maintaining some of these pieces of equipment, I know they can be a pretty big investment, and so you want to make sure that you're taking good care of them. What are some just typical average kind of maintenance things that people need to look for when they're taking care of their equipment?
I feel like the biggest thing is honestly cleaning it. Depending on your brewery size, this thing is either operating sometimes 24/7, larger projects, or you're brewing 2 times a week. Take the time to clean it, because some of this material can affect pumps. It can affect different seals, gaskets, chemicals can affect the stainless over time. But CIP processes are like one of the biggest things for your tanks, for beer quality. I think that's going to prolong the life of your equipment.
And if how can that actually affect the final product? Like what would a poorly maintained system kind of do to that final product?
So typically on a mash tun, there's not too much you can go through on the mash tun to really affect the final product, because it's going to go into the kettle. It's going to boil. A little clump of grain is not going to hurt that because it's going to be sanitary and boiled. The kettle, I'd say the biggest thing would be like low level sensors. So we offer a safety feature that prevents an electric element or a burner from turning on when the liquid level's too low. One, you can possibly crack a jacket or crack a heating jacket, or you can scorch the wort. Now, once you scorch the wort, you can taste that in the final product. The next biggest thing is probably cleaning and maintaining your heat exchanger. We send brand new gasket sets with all of our heat exchangers. We have spares if you need them, but clean that, because that's where you have to be clean. Because it's the last thing it's touching before it's heading into a tank. So if it's not clean, you just infected a batch, there's money down the drain.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun cleaning those too.
So much fun.
As a brewery owner, you know that quality equipment is the backbone of your operation. That's why I'm excited to introduce you to CraftMaster Stainless, the industry leader in high-performance production equipment for the beer, cider, wine, and spirits industries. Located near Sacramento, California, CraftMaster Stainless understands the unique need of brewers like you. Whether you're just starting out or looking to expand your existing business, their dedicated team will work closely with you to understand your goals and provide the right consultation services. CraftMaster Stainless is proud to offer the largest inventory of in-stock brewing equipment in the region. From cellar tanks and keg washing systems to brew houses and more, we have the essentials you need to elevate your brewing operations. And with our unbeatable pricing and fast shipping, you can get the equipment in record time.
Hi there, I'm Sean Hiltz from Rody's Brewing Company. My experience with Mac was pretty easygoing. He was very knowledgeable and helped guide me in the right direction to purchasing this brew house. And I just want to say thanks to the guys at CraftMaster Stainless.
I think it's pretty easy to tell sometimes how beer quality is going to be at a brewery, judging by how clean the brew house and area is. And that's not always indicative of, the closed process of brewing. But my personal take is there's like a pride and attention to detail. And if the things people can't see things people can see, are dusty or dirty or haven't been polished in a long time, and the floors haven't been foamed, then it's probably indicative of what's inside the equipment and process as well.
Yes.
And you would agree with that sentiment?
100%. I acid washed my tanks and my floors every couple weeks, at the least once a month. You walk into breweries sometimes and you can just smell the floors or what's behind the tanks. And yeah, it typically leads to what the beer quality is.
Yeah. You always hear the old adage of, a bathroom in a restaurant indicative of the kitchen, because, if they're not taking care of the bathroom, the kitchen's probably, something you can't see is probably not great either. But, it is also, there's also a realistic struggle of a lot of these breweries might only have one person on staff, and they brew, cellar, keg, clean, all of it while trying to do events and a lot of things being asked of them. So where does, when you're developing a program of preventative maintenance, what is the realistic balance when it comes to resources in terms of labor and capital?
So let me see if I answer this one right. But if you want to start your maintenance plan or preventative maintenance plan, all the parts or pieces, gaskets that come with the system, we have on a shelf. And typically when someone's purchasing a whole kit like this for their brewery, we recommend, hey, this is a possible failure item depending on how you treat it. We have them in stock ready to go. Do you want them right now? And I usually give too much information during sales and everything. I get very technical. And so I'll be like, hey, if you want this fails due to this. So just give me a call. Or if they don't want it right away, okay, you'll have it in a day or two. But parts and pieces for preventative maintenance do not cost much. I mean, the biggest things are going to be pump seals, maybe, and then some electrical components. Other than that, not too many things should fail. Stainless should not fail.
Right.
But yeah, we have everything ready to go for them.
I mean, it sounds like, a little bit of preventative maintenance up front can save you a lot of money in the long term if something goes wrong. So.
Yeah, so we're seeing a flood of used equipment to our market, and I see it on Facebook and Reddit forums quite often. Somebody purchased equipment from a manufacturer that's gone out of business. There's often not very much paperwork that comes with any of this. So, what is best practice in terms of, you mentioned a car, you want to know, hey, this is how often the oil's been changed, or this is the maintenance that's been done on it. What should that SOP even on maintenance look like in terms of documentation? Should there be just a book? Should it be a file somewhere? How detailed should it be, and how frequently should it be updated?
I feel like a lot of people don't keep a maintenance log. I know there's larger breweries that technically have a maintenance team. It's one guy. For example, I'm going to bring up Drake's out of San Leandro. They have a maintenance team, and he has a full shop to replace pumps, pieces on all their equipment, but they're massive production. I'd say for the smaller breweries, like 15 barrels and below or something, it is best if someone kind of keeps track of, hey, this part was replaced on this date, or I replaced this pump seal here. But, if it's a brewer or lead brewer that's been there for multiple years, it's kind of just stored in their head. But yeah, you're right. If he leaves, there goes that maintenance.
With CraftMaster Stainless, you get the quality, performance, and availability you need to keep your brewery running at its best. And as your local California supplier, we're here to provide personalized support and expertise to help you find the perfect brewing solutions for your brewing operation. And as your local California supplier, we're here to provide personalized support and expertise to help you find the perfect solution for your unique brewing operation. And as your local California supplier, we're here to provide personalized support and expertise to help you find the perfect solution for your unique brewing operation. Don't settle for subpar equipment or lengthy wait times. Upgrade your brewery with CraftMaster Stainless today and experience the difference. CraftMaster Stainless is built to the highest standards, ensuring superior quality, durability, and performance equipment for your brewery. offering a wide range of customizable designs to meet the specific requirements of your business, from small craft artisans to large multinational producers. CraftMaster Stainless can take your brewing to new heights and unlock your business's full potential. Give us a call to help elevate your business. 916-750-4677.
The Keggernaut, hands down, is one of the most pivotal pieces of equipment in a small operation like this. On brew day, you do not want to be hauling 14 kegs around trying to figure out where you're going to wash them at other places. So if you're talking about putting, your capital where it's most important, I would say the keg washer is one of those that needs to be here.
Yeah, that happens quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
People will end up moving on, and they don't really, the new ones coming in are left in the blind. But as an owner who's investing, $500,000 in equipment, you would think that you would want a brochure that sits in a drawer somewhere at least, that has parts listed and all that. But I wouldn't say it's probably that often, but you hear those people panicking a lot, trying to find the right sizing of something, or and not really knowing what resources to go to.
Yeah. We offer, I actually just got this question not too long ago. I'm working with East Laboratories up north, and we're building them a small little nano system, and they requested a parts list. And so we're like, okay, here's your parts list.
Yeah.
Hopefully you don't have to replace too much, but here you go.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty smart thing to ask for.
And how often should you do some of the things like changing gaskets and some of that kind of stuff?
I would definitely go through your gaskets bi-yearly. Okay. Depending on use, like I said, I'm kind of talking to the average size, but take apart your piping, check your EPDM gaskets or your silicone gaskets. How are they stained? Is there any cracking? Things like that, because it will happen. The biggest thing for electronics, we're shipping these sometimes nationwide on a truck. Talk about vibration. Talk about vibration from constant use every week. I'd say once every quarter, go through, have an electrician come in, of course, deal with a licensed electrician, and have them turn off the system, lock it out, and then go through and check every single electrical connection, because vibration can cause these wires to loosen over time. Well, a loose wire likes to spark a little. And we see contactors fail for pumps and different pieces, but that's one of the biggest things I've seen so far is just loose wires due to vibration.
Interesting. I mean, I can see how, especially if you have multiple people all do contributing to the maintenance and the cleanliness and all that kind of stuff, keeping a log so each other know kind of what's been done and stuff would be really helpful as well, especially if you're supposed to do things kind of quarterly, bi-yearly,
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah, so like replacing all of those softs in terms of hoses and gaskets and stuff, is that something that just, every January we shut down for a couple days and perform some of this bigger maintenance and replace some of these items? Or what does that generally look like in your experience?
I just kind of went through the piping every now and then. It's typically when I had to change out a pump seal. I went through like my main manifold, the pipes around, if you have hard piping, the pipes around the system, those gaskets didn't fail too much, but the main ones that were dealing with hotter liquids, I would definitely check more often than not. But I kind of lost the question on that one a little bit.
Yeah, I think it was you just kind of do like a day every year where you kind of go through and just like do a checklist kind of thing.
Right. It's, I've seen this a lot with breweries and all manufacturing, is like a planned shutdown seems like such a hindrance, but without that, you end up down certain days throughout the year anyways. And it could be, replacing like the stator that you can't get in for a couple days, and you're eating that time when you're most busy, as opposed to, okay, I'm slow in January, we all know that. Let's plan 2 days there and throw a pizza party and our company holiday party at the same day and let everybody deep clean everything.
Yeah, it shouldn't take long. Once you start doing it more and more, you become familiar with your system. But I'd say the average brewer would take you 1 or 2 days.
So, you can mention somebody specifically if you want, or somebody comes to mind, but, those big breweries, as you mentioned, have a dedicated team or SOPs for a lot of this. Is there anybody on the small to mid scale who you would really recognize as standing out in terms of the amount of importance they put on that in their culture, right? I think we're forgetting the people part of a lot of this. And sometimes it needs to be embedded in a culture, and those standards need to be, those expectations need to be set to really ensure people are hitting those, and it's not an afterthought. Have you seen anybody that really stand out as going above and beyond, and you always know you're going to walk in there and see a clean brewery that they're cleaning or doing something that they should?
I'm kind of going to cheat on this one a little bit, because when I was working with the crew at Roadies, Sean is also a former mechanic. And then his brewer, Peter, has been in the industry a while, so he knows what to look for. And so when I talk to them via text or phone, it's like, this is what I need. This is what's happening. Okay, what caused this? And then boom, we're done. So that one stood out to me. But in the 2.5 years working in equipment now, I honestly have not seen too much. It's very either brewer or owner dependent, or what they see, or maybe it's more reactive than proactive. I feel like that whole phrase works in a lot of different aspects of the brewing industry of being proactive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see it that often.
Yeah. Being proactive in any aspect of your business is going to lead you to a greater chance of success.
Yeah.
Right? And attention is in the details, and where our current industry's at, attention's in the pennies.
Yeah.
And it's hard to upfront capital to maintain something that you don't see that 12 to 18-month plan on. But those are the things that really add up if you don't stay ahead of it.
Yeah. And if someone called with a question, I'll definitely spend my time out of the day if it's a keg washer thing. I mean, we have the whole user manual. We have QR codes on the side of our keg washers that go through. Those are our most detailed in maintenance, because we have so many of them out there. There's videos, but if someone wants to spend 15, 20 minutes asking how to do something, or maybe customize it a little bit, give us a call. I love talking to people and seeing what they do. And sometimes that, even if we've been in the industry X amount of time, you're going to learn something possibly from them.
Yeah. And you're down in San Diego quite a bit, right? Generally speaking.
Yeah.
We're recording this right after San Diego Beer Week, and we've spent a couple great days together, and appreciate CraftMaster sponsoring some of our neighborhood cleanups, and how ingrained in the community you've been. And so we really want to thank you and CraftMaster for doing that. But if somebody's looking to learn a little bit more or get in touch with you personally, where should they look?
So you can look on the website, www.craftmasterstainless.com. We have social media, Facebook as well as Instagram. We're a little more active on Instagram. Reach out to myself, just Mac, M-A-C-K, at craftmasterstainless.com. The office phone goes to me, and so just give me a chat. Let's talk.
Perfect. Well, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for watching the Capital Craft podcast. If you want to watch more episodes just like this one, subscribe to our channel, and you can find us at SD Brewers on Instagram and all the social medias.
Cheers.
Thank you, guys.